Hey, Gil, the podcast world is growing bigger every day, and Himalaya wants to help us navigate it. Himalaya is a brand new podcast app where you find every single podcast you love, that's like us, and some future favorites. Whether you're a podcaster or a fan, Himalaya has got your back. Discover personally curated playlists, show your favorite podcasters, like the No Chill podcasters, some love with Himalaya's Chip Jar. It's free, it's the easiest to use, and they're adding cool new features every day. Go to the App Store, download Himalaya, and don't forget to follow the No Chill podcast if you aren't already.
Of course they are.
Let's go. Right. On this episode of the No Chill podcast, we're coming to you from Vegas, where we were in town for the Big Three Combine and the Big Three Draft. Enemy's teammate and co-captain Lamar Odom joins the podcast to talk about what matters the most to him from a basketball standpoint, who was the toughest matchup he ever faced in the NBA, and the best game he played in that we never saw. Gilbert and Lamar also get into about what differentiates East Coast players and West Coast players. Also, Lamar shares how a certain former teammate handled it when Agent Zero dropped 60 on him. We taped this episode after the draft lottery, but before the Big Three draft, where Gilbert and Lamar and the Enemies selected Royce White #1, Greg Smith, and Frank Robinson to round out their squad. That's a hell of a roster and definitely something to get excited to watch come together this summer. It's a No Chill podcast. Remember, you can subscribe to us on the Himalaya app or wherever you get your podcast and catch the video version on the No Chill YouTube channel. All right, so we have your teammate here today. The Enemies.
Yeah, sure.
Lamar, how you doing? I'm
Enemies. We are hated right now.
I don't know who came up with that name.
I don't know. When I seen it, it was that of the triplets, and I for sure wasn't because of the triplets.
Not a triplets.
Nah, and Enemies makes a lot more sense. Yeah. I'm glad we went with that. But this was a long time coming together, right? Some conversations, some texting, and some recruiting. Yeah.
And we got the first pick.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
We were in the back of the room last night, and I was like, man, who has the hot hand? Because we're in Vegas,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I was like, he got the hot hand. He got the hot hand.
I should go gamble.
Yeah.
What's so funny is I'm sitting there with Royce, and it was like, Gil, go pull. I was like, Lamar, now he got the hot hand. We got #1. We got Royce right here, so we can keep on talking. And then you pulled it out. I was like, told you. Told you.
And I think Royce is obviously the #1 pick.
Yeah, kind of put it out there like he was next to you at the time. I guess
that's what I said. It's like you throw it out there, the universe brings it back.
Yes.
What's the other dude? You think about drafting too? What's his name?
Don't.
Oh, you can't.
This ain't gonna happen. We're gonna already have him by then.
All right.
Frank Robinson.
Frank Robinson.
These walls have ears, though.
That's the kid that played for the in the Drew League. That was
That's-
good. Oh,
No, that's Frank Nitti.
That's
Yeah.
Frank Nitti.
Yeah,
That's
Frank Robinson is like Coutinho size.
Oh,
Yeah, bigger, stronger.
okay.
Yeah. That's what I said. If Coutinho can drop a play, he's gonna pick.
Uh-huh.
But you can't. He's our secret.
Yeah,
He would've probably
that's what I'm saying.
He
Secret
would have
weapon.
probably been 1, 2, or 3
Yeah.
if he showed up.
Okay.
If he'd have been picked 1, 2, or 3.
But Coutinho and them don't have a pick.
No, they don't have him.
Oh, okay, good.
So, what are you guys looking forward to? 3-on-3 basketball. Like it takes you back to where you started, right? Like
Yeah.
half court, on the playground, street ball.
What-
It's like returning to that, right?
I mean, for me, for being from New York, it reminds me like when I had to play games for money, like no foul calls, go to the hole. Only way you're gonna get the ball is if the defender give you the ball. Like that's like, I fucked you up. You know what I'm saying? Take the ball. And the way these games are played reminds me of that. So I'm kind of looking forward to like taking it back to the essence of how I started playing.
What's funny is I don't remember playing much 3-on-3. You know, when you're in Cali, it's.
But a
you
lot
can
of times
go-
you just
Well,
get
we
to the court, nobody's there.
Yeah,
So it's like
yeah,
the
New York,
first
we
to
played a
show
lot
up.
of 4-on-4.
Yeah, see, we
It was never 3-on-3.
was always 5-on-5. You know, adult league, we was always 5-on-5. It was rarely where we played 3-on-3. You know, like they played 3-on-3 like we have the hoop it up 3-on-3 tournament here.
Oh, yeah.
Growing up, but you know, when you're young, you ain't hacking that much. You know, they got referees and stuff out there. So I've never been in that situation where it's just strictly 3-on-3 street ball. We did 1-on-1 or 21.
I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna be honest with you. Big Three is, I would say, like 5 times more physical than the NBA. I don't know
Yeah,
if you
yeah,
have you watched it.
Yeah. You know what? And that's been my little thing. It's like, if you want players to get in shape and all that, you got to change the rules just a little bit.
Yeah.
Because, unlimited fouls. Now the guys who's out of shape, they just not even they don't got to foul out, so they can just sit there and be.
Yeah, you get fouls, but you can't foul out.
Yeah.
And this, you just got to play through the whistle. I
Yeah.
would say that's the key. Don't even play like you're not even looking for the whistle.
But also, we
Just
want
play
athletes
through it.
to be athletes.
Yeah, because it's when you start getting out of shape, it's you rely more on old man strength. And I said, if you want to take it away from old man strength, you put fouls in, and I foul out the game one. I guarantee that whole week I'm going to be getting in shape so I can keep
Prepare,
up next
right?
week. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
that's just how it is. But hacking is hacking. We've been in practice before.
Yeah. But it's also is it like being at the lottery last night. It's like a high school reunion, man. Like people you haven't seen in.
Nah, the camaraderie is here. I was doing an interview earlier. I was like, it's incredible. And then you have the ability to network. You know what I mean? You came here for basketball. You might leave here with a check or a business opportunity. You never know. So it's just good to be here. With these young black men just
What's
See
doing
that?
what we love.
That's a grand plan right
What
there.
was so funny is, you all the guards for the most part are still in shape. For the most part, all the guards are kind of in shape. It's just the bigger guys who's just like, okay, you picked up a little weight. I need you to drop that so you don't foul that hard.
Yeah.
You got, then it's like it's just one of those things where it was like it was good seeing competitors again. Seeing old teammates, seeing guys you went up against enemies. You know what I mean? You get to see it. It's
Seeing
like,
everybody you done torched.
yeah,
basically.
ready for you. Like, this is a whole different league now. We gonna
Right, because there's like intensity, but it's not the same as when you're on an 82 game grind.
no.
it's one game
It is because you're still NBA players.
Yeah.
And you're still playing against
No,
the
yeah.
guys.
But it's
who
the
had
best
to
part
guard
of it's
you.
the best part of that. One game a week.
Yeah, it's going. I mean, remember when I told you, like, it's gonna take me back to that essence of being in my hood playing for money. So I'm really just taking it back, like I'm playing for $10,000 a game.
Maybe more.
Well, maybe more with the opportunity to make more. So I'm looking forward to it, man.
So that thing,
Put 'em on.
the essence of taking you back to where you came from, right? So we have New York basketball, LA basketball. Valley is still LA, by the way.
Valley still LA. The difference?
There's a Valley killer right there.
Well,
And not even the difference. I think what is so special to you about New York basketball and LA? There is a difference.
Well, probably I would say the number one difference is probably playing on the pavement. They playing gyms, and I think that just changes the way you probably go after the game. I'm not gonna say New York City basketball is more physical, but it's just the grind. The grind of it is more different, and a lot of it is like really based upon point guard play. And I think that's how my game was like brought up. I always wanted to be a point guard, and I told the point guard, I don't care.
Yeah, damn. Like
I didn't care if I had to bump you off the position or whatever, but that was always my like the strength of my game. That was my ball handling ability. I don't know what do you think the difference is? And the jump shot. They shoot the ball because of that damn gym.
Yeah, and what's so funny is people don't really understand the little things really impacts people's games. Like, with outside, you're going to have one rim at 11, one rim at 9.
Yeah.
It's just how it's always been in the street. So,
one is
what?
broke, one
Yeah.
is straight.
Yeah, so what
not to
ends
mention weather.
So
too,
what
like the
ends up
wind.
happening is the New York guard doesn't want to shoot because it's like, that ain't the real size. So they become more
Right, that puts the
on
importance
ground.
on your handle.
They put more ground play in. See, with us, we have gyms, so we can get our shots off. So
But it's funny, you have LA, you have the weather, it's perfect all the
Yeah,
time.
all the time.
If you was a New York City point guard with a jump shot, like you were special. You know what I mean? Like their point guards,
that's what
how
we
they raise it.
yeah, that's it.
You know
It's
what I
like
mean? So-
that's the thing that because we're sitting in gyms that we got 10 and 10. They know when we're gonna blow that shot. So we get to really define our shooting. We don't necessarily have the dribbling because nothing is making us dribble. You know, so we don't have the dribbling. We got more of that all around, you know, that all around skill. New York is more, I think, because it's there's more players there, where they have to fight.
Yeah,
But it's like-
I think environment too.
Yeah, they
right?
have
That
to
makes
fight more.
Players' mentalities different.
What kind of environment? Describe it.
Upbringing. Cali is a little bit more free flowing. New York's a little bit more intense.
All right, so there's a myth, right? Are Cali players soft?
I didn't say so. You know what I mean?
Today's NBA, yeah.
Maybe just.
But damn,
easier.
all the talent in the NBA, you have LA, you have Russ,
Cali.
Harden,
They out there.
PG,
This is
DeMar.
it. And this is it. And when you think about Westbrook, he's probably the only one that doesn't shoot the ball well. I remember Ray Allen's from here too. Ray Allen's damn near San Francisco.
The other thing is when you're playing outside in New York, more like you're saying, is like the importance is on your handle and creating, finishing at the rim.
Finishing at the rim,
You're
so-
packing the paint, so you're going to play a little more physical. All right. So when you're shooting, the floor is spaced.
Yeah.
So you don't rely on that.
It is. So we
concept.
don't rely on physical play because we don't have to. That's what I'm saying. We don't have to. We're playing in gyms 5
When
on
it's
5.
raining, or you know what I'm saying, it's drizzling. You know what I'm saying. You shoveling the snow.
You know what's so funny? If you took AAU at that age group and you had the West versus, you know, the East would keep beating the West just due to mentality. They're just at that age group. They've played tough basketball, so they know how to grind it out. You know, being down 20 to them means nothing because we just gonna physically just keep coming at you. And you know, if you had, especially at that age, you know, once we start going to college, we start learning different. You have a New York dude on you or a Chicago dude practicing with you, and he actually gets you tougher, you know, before you get to the next level. But, you know, going to college, yeah, the West is a little softer. It's just we are. We just, you know, we're more, you know, finesse type.
Let's talk about where it happens. Right, in New York, you have so many courts, legendary courts. Right, you have the Rucker, obviously, Dykeman, Gersh, like Kingdom, all these. Where was it for you?
Oh man, probably my park, Lincoln Park. That's where I first started slaying, killing older competition, busting their ass every which way. Lincoln Park.
So is it like you go to your park that's in your neighborhood and you dominate that, right? Like I think that what I read in the 70s, what they did, like you had the neighborhood guys, like, okay, now we're going to go to their neighborhood, right? And then that's really how like, street ball game
Well, yeah,
magnified.
for me that was the most fun in the summertime. You know what I'm saying? Going to Brooklyn, Manhattan to the Bronx, being the Queens team, because in Queens, like in the boroughs, Queens got the reputation for being soft. You know what I'm saying? So for us to go these different places and to bust their ass was always like important and special to me.
Where was that in Cali?
I mean, I was a park player. You know what I mean? I was, you know,
Was
Valley
that
Plaza. I played at Valley Plaza, North Hollywood Park, Victory Violin. You know, it's when I started getting into my own, I had to play in an adult league or go to Venice Beach, you know, that's where the real talent was, you know, all of LA, all the older players. So, you know, that's how I learned my game. It was playing against all the older, you know, seeing what the older dudes did. Like, you know, some of the best players, I was like, man, why is he in the NBA? You know, you got, you know, 6'9" guys, 6'8" with 44-inch verticals. You know what I mean? And it's like, you know, you go in there, it's like, yo, these are the guys from like, if the UCLA, you know, he has Summer League UCLA, these guys will bust their ass. But you know, something happened, so they had to finish me. So, you know, me sitting there just watching all the time, like, oh man, this motherfucker nice, right? That's Jordan right there. You know, you get that, and that's where I had to sit there and just watch and learn. And, you know, at that age, they're not gonna pass you the ball. So now, you know, I got to sit here and try to get open the whole time just to get a one shot that game. Because, you know, older guys, they ain't trying to lose. They just picked you up just to, because they man didn't come. You know, so, you know, you won 5 games with them. You ain't touched the ball one time. But you learn how to juke and move without the ball.
You're open, but you still don't get it.
Yeah.
I think about this, because a lot of these games no one ever saw, right? There were fans, obviously, people around the parks, but they weren't on TV. This is before, you know, social media, Ball is Life, places like that. Think about the best game you ever played in, to you. What was that story? Lamar, what do you got?
The best game I ever played that nobody's seen. probably had to be against. I was in high school, and we were playing against a team. Name of the school was called St. Raymond's, and they had a lot of big dudes. This was one of the first like high school teams that they were known for like lifting weights. So they were like really big and physical. And I remember on the way up there, I knew my team, like we probably thought we were gonna lose. You know what I'm saying? Because on the way up there, the bus my team was like really close, and the bus ride, everybody was just quiet. And I don't know, in the first quarter, like we started, they were like beating us, and then something just got into my left hand. I just got hot. I hit like 6 threes, and I wound up tying Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's record for New York City points, high school, New York City, Catholic high school, New York City points, Catholic high school basketball, New York City
Be
points in the
specific
game.
with it, right?
Yeah, tied his record, and that meant a lot to me doing that.
I mean, Gil, think about all these guys that came from New York back then. Yeah, like
Yeah.
Kareem for sure, like
Yeah.
Connie Hawkins, like the
Yeah.
great Earl Manigault, like these guys that were just legends. That's where New York really has.
Yeah,
Yeah, you know the history of the basketball in New York is what we didn't. On the West, you didn't really understand. You don't really understand that all those pros were playing against each other in the summer, and we
Yeah.
didn't have that. We didn't have that type of basketball pro players playing against each other in the park, in the streets where everyone's seen. We're just locked in the gym training. So my best game was when I actually went to the Rucker. It was the EBC World Tournament where it was Los Angeles versus New York, Boston. It was Boston in it, DC was in it, and we were playing Boston. What ended up happening is it was the first time I really played outside,
How old were you?
like 20, 24, 23. Like it was right before so that was the summer before I came to All
about
Star. Yeah, before. So we're playing. We start out first is outside, and I'm trying to shoot my little jumper. Like God damn. But we're on the small rim. I'm like, okay, at least I can look like I'm Vince Carter, on this one, And what happened is I said, man, I wish I was in the fucking gym. Started raining. Started raining, so we had to go to Gaucho's gym.
Gaucho.
They put me in Gaucho's gym, and they put me in my element.
Well,
Hit them for 60.
Actually, I've heard
in
of
Gaucho's gym.
Yeah, in Gaucho's gym, hit them for 60.
Lamar, is that a
Damn.
record?
Nah, I think KD got the record at Rucker.
Yeah, I want
Well,
to
you
say
gotta be close to
63
it.
maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And that's where they called me Gestapo. That's how I got. So my first name was like in outside. It was Pro Material. It was Pro Material, and then I was like, oh yeah, he got Pro Material. And then once I got to the Gaucho's gym, and I'm just going. It was like, oh, this is the Gestapo. I said, what the fuck is that? It was like German police that killed everybody. 'Cause you out here killing them. He was like, you out here killing everybody. So that's my Rucker
It's a
name.
World War II reference.
Like my name is the Gestapo.
Man, that's the thing about New York, man. They deliver on the nicknames
Yes,
too.
Animal
Facts,
gave me a
they
nice
do.
one. But that was the best. And then when I was in DC, they had Berry Farms, and I used to go out there and play because sometimes you craft and get little gems from some of the street ballers. Believe it or not, because they're skilled. They just probably did something wrong in their life where they didn't get that next step. So playing against some of the kids in New York and some of the players in DC, you started learning like, man, this motherfucker actually nice. Let me go ahead. Take that from him real quick. Okay, get a little jab, a little up, and get that little hezzy. I got the little hezzy now.
All that.
Watching kids on the playground.
I think that's exactly what a playground is the environment, So let's take a break. We'll come back to that, but we got to talk about our friends at LinkedIn. When it's time to make a hire for your small business, naturally, you want to find the best person for the job. Odds are that person is on LinkedIn. LinkedIn Jobs make it easy to get matched with quality candidates who make the most sense for your role. LinkedIn Jobs uses knowledge of both hard and soft skills to match you with the people who fit your role the best. People come to LinkedIn every day to learn and advance their career, so LinkedIn understands what they're interested in and looking for, which means when you see LinkedIn Jobs, you want to hire someone who matches based on much more than a resume. Your LinkedIn Jobs matches are based on skills and background, sure, but also interests, activities, and passions. Matching lets you quickly get a group of the most relevant qualified candidates for your role. That way you can focus on candidates you want to spend time talking to and make a quality hire you're excited about. Customers rate LinkedIn Jobs #1 in delivering quality hires. So for fans of the No Chill podcast, we got something for you. Post a job today at linkedin.com/nochill and get $50 off your first job post. That's linkedin.com/nochill. Go get a job.
Go get a job.
We'll help you get a job. You need some water? You want some more water?
Nah, a job. What's a job?
I mean, you know, it gets to a point where you guys know it's work. You know, you gotta be about.
This ain't work. This is fun. This is.
I could put in work, but I can never work. Yeah. If that makes sense.
Well, you're dedicated to it, but it can't feel like work.
I could be dedicated to something, but
I can't work. I can't. Yeah, I'm the same way. I'm like, I'm sorry. Like, I remember I had my first job at City Walk. I was a rock climbing instructor.
Okay. Yeah. There's safety standards at that point where.
I was too thin for the shit they were trying to have me do. Hold people like, fucking 100 pounds, but I can't hold this motherfucker up there. You know? That was one day and I had to quit.
Y'all got sponsors for this?
Yeah, we're official.
He said we official.
So, okay, back to that environment, right? So it's a lab for a lot of people. You can test things out. You know, you can go up against different competition, players you're not familiar with, right? So, because if you're on a school team, you know your teammates and
What are you talking about? Reference to what?
Playing back in the street ball environment.
Oh, the big three?
Just back in the park.
Oh,
yeah. So a lot of guys use that, like you said, Gil, is you're gauging your competition, but also you're gonna take something from them.
I mean, if you want to become better and better, you know, you have to update your software anywhere. So, you know, anyway. So I always say there's no bad player. You know, he just probably don't have the same skill I have. But he has something that makes him special. So let me try to figure out what that is and try to add that to my game.
I think basketball, that's why it's a special game, because you can continuously learn. You know, if you're playing or you're just watching, you can always learn and pick something up.
But some guys don't approach it that way.
Because some people are content. They're content on what they do.
Or something that you couldn't do. You know what I mean? Like, I ain't played basketball in 5 years. I'm really looking forward to hitting somebody with a euro. You know what I'm saying?
That long one.
Yeah, got a long one. You know what I'm saying?
What's so funny is when I stopped playing before the euro came in, so I haven't hit anybody with the euro either. Yeah, you know, so there's really.
And I got some film of me doing it, but it wasn't even called the euro. It was just
it was
sidestep.
Yeah,
it didn't have a name.
New York is like the sidestep, the hop step, the jump stop, like those.
The jump stop, because the point guard play is so important.
You know, there's also the idea. I think I remember like playground ball. You saw that one guy was like, man, that guy's just a hooper, like a true hooper. And those are the guys that always like. Maybe they, like you said,
I can't front. We had this one dude around my way. Oh shit! If you think Kobe Bryant emulate Michael Jordan,
oh, you have one of those?
Yo, he had to walk down. You know what I'm saying? The whole
strut,
everything, the layups like that. His name was Hugo. Shout out to Hugo. But he was dope. only on the half court though.
Oh, he couldn't play
full court. Couldn't find him out there. For real. I'm like, what's that about?
You know, some players just like, you have practice players and then you have gamers, right? You know, so I know you had teammates that, man, they look great in practice, and then in the big stage, they couldn't perform. Then you have players that their practice habits are bad. Like, how do you get better? Yeah. But when that light is on, they just knew how to play. Yeah. They just knew how to play. It's like, that's real. That's
that is for real.
There's show ponies where they look great. They can look great through an NBA workout.
Yeah, and you'd be like, damn, I should pick him.
Pick him #1. And then you got some guys that looks terrible. You put him with 5 players and 10 players, and you put rules in. You're like, damn, that motherfucker's a killer.
Well,
you know, it's hard. You know, it's like that's what I said. Some players value. You can not value them like somebody like Lou Williams, right? It's his game. It's his NBA game. It's his feel for the game that makes him special, and you don't know how to gauge that. And now you're like, we're gonna keep him as a 6 man, and you know, we're gonna pigeonhole him because he's not a point, he's not a two, he's somewhere. Like he's a
Some
fucking
people
player.
just gotta let them go out there and play.
Just go and play. Just play. Just do you. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
hey, this team will find a way to figure it out.
Some players will just figure it out.
Yep.
And Lou's figured it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, the guy that came to mind for me was Iverson.
Yeah.
You just couldn't really quantify him. He's like undersized.
Lou played with Iverson too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. They have the same. What's so funny is they have the same game. It's with Iverson, everyone was used to that cross. It's like I remember when the crossover fade first came out. People don't realize by his third season he didn't have that crossover anymore. They took it away from him.
Yeah, they did.
He was just quicker than everyone. Yeah. That's what he was. Quick. It was just a crafty style that no one really paid attention. Everyone, they just remember the crossover like he had handle. I was like, AI didn't have handle. He had that crossover when they took it from him. His game was basically like Lou's game. You don't know if Lou has handle. You ain't never seen him get ripped.
It ain't a bump.
Yeah.
Maybe between the leg cross, that's it.
Yeah, that's just it. He doesn't have.
He ain't gonna combo. He ain't gonna hit you like a Kyrie.
It wasn't because I thought the harder cross was Marbury. They came up at the same time. He would just hit you and boom.
Yeah, it was two. They're two different. There was two different styles. Like I said, like
you couldn't take that away.
Like Iverson was elongated.
Long. Steph is more compact.
Right.
So when he went to go, it was more like a push through. It was a push through cross instead of a cross. It was a push through cross, like fake the screen and just boom.
I remember there was a thing about the rules, right? They said he was palming the ball.
Iverson?
Yeah,
because it came under with the hezzy. Boom. Yeah.
But with Steph, he didn't need room. He was like in space, like in the elevator.
But Iverson carried here, Steph carried here. Two different sides. I mean, that's what I said. They're both carries in a sense of back then. It's just the power of the move. You know what I mean? Yeah.
One is on top, one is underneath.
Yeah, one was underneath, one was on top.
Okay, how about this guy? When you first saw him, like his height, his handle, everything that he could do, what made him so special?
Because he was the point. Nobody paid attention to it. Like, it was one of those things where, you had a whole bunch of athletes and we had to stick our power forward. Power forward is just used to this shit right here. And I'm like, he's the point guard. Like, we're better off, like, he's at the top of the key making these passes, and people didn't understand what height was. Everyone's like, we need a point. No. You don't need a point guard. You just need someone who can make plays. And if you look at all championship teams, the point guards was irrelevant. It was, like Robert Horry was, the point guard on the Houston. I mean, Pippen, like these are the point guards. Derek Fisher was a guard that just shot the ball in the corner. He was a corner guy, and nobody realized how important that guy is. Like LeBron, he was the point for his teams. Everybody else just scores. Turkaluk was the point on, that big guy because he can see over everyone. That's what made him special. Like he can see every play. So when Lamar had the ball, it was one of those things like, all right, face guard everyone. Because like if he wants to, score 100, let him score 100. But that's not his mentality. He wants to get everybody involved. So Derek Fisher's just a shooter. Don't go off him in a corner, and that's how we had to play.
It's crazy. I remember watching Gilbert at Arizona. I'm like, who the fuck is this motherfucker torching him? And then, enough said. He gave the coldest motherfucker I ever played with. He gave him 60. And Kobe's by far the best defender I ever seen.
What did he ever tell you about that?
That's when we just kind of with him, you ain't gonna really even bring that up. You know what I'm saying? And
But it sticks with
dudes
him.
On the team never gonna bring it up because they want to be on the team.
The bad part about it, somebody's like, well, how can you score Kobe on 60? He's the best defender. I said, he's the best defender in his element. If I was a shooting guard, hell no, I would never have scored. But because I have the ball coming downhill and because I'm faster than them,
I think that was a little.
I get to use my advantage and stay away from trying to do the same thing twice against them.
It's like me. Like if I see a big dude on me, and I bring him out, I could just look in his face and say like he ain't really not comfortable being out there. Maybe he caught Kobe not comfortable like being the first one on the ball like that. You feel what I'm saying? Just like throws you off.
Yeah, that's what I said. There's some defenders just like like Bruce Bowen. He's great if you put him in the pick and roll. He don't know how to do the pick and roll. And I think that's what I told people, like LeBron being at the point, and now he has all these defenders playing full court D. That's not been their thing, so he has the advantage on them. It was just one of those things. It was like he was just out of his element, and I wouldn't put him in his element. I wasn't gonna get off the ball and then now try to come off a down screen. Like, nah, he's gonna fucking lock me down, So I got to keep moving and just make him run. And I remember him during the game, he was like, "So you're not gonna guard me?" No. No.
I'm not
gonna do that. Do justice. Like you just gave motherfuckers 81. I'm not gonna just let you just pop me down here in this post. No, thank you. I'm not stupid.
But also, it comes down to mismatches. Like, how do we guard as a point someone that's 6'10"?
That was how do you guard a point guard that has a shooting guard mentality and scores just as good as a shooting guard?
And what's so funny is when I came into the league, that was my thing. I'm a combo guard.
Yeah, because his advantage was the same advantage I seen with D Wade. They too big for the point, but too quick for the two.
Yeah, so it's like I'm gonna go to the point, and I have that advantage. The only person I didn't have an advantage over was Jason Kidd. He was just as big, just as strong, just as fast. So that was the only time I really had problems because now I can't use what I use against everybody. I can't. The two guards, I can't just speed past them. The points, I can't just bully through him. So it's like he's the only person that gets to guard me one-on-one. I'm like, fuck, it's
crazy. It's crazy how in the NBA you can have the one dude that he might not be as good as you at one thing, but he just give you like that just problems. Just how he plays, his style of play, what he can do, what you can't do. It's like, fuck, I gotta see him again tonight.
Yeah. It was like he ain't good.
He can't check me, but
I know I'm better than this.
Yeah. He just somehow whatever he's doing has my number right now. Just this weak ass motherfucker. Someone's gonna score 30, 40 on him tomorrow, and he just for some reason frustrated the shit out of me today.
Lamar, who is that guy for you?
Easy. Dirk. Like I know I'm gonna be able to get past him. It ain't gonna be like bumping. I'm not gonna bleed with bruises and all that. But he gonna fuck my eyes up. It's that shot. You just can't. There's nothing you can do about it. No matter how much you bang him, he gonna lean on you, and then he just rock catch you over. Man, it's easily Dirk. Dirk and KG. I hated seeing KG. His energy level.
I was
and
gonna
he's
say
strong,
all
and
aggression.
big, yeah.
It's all aggression.
Talking shit. He talk mad shit too. For real.
But it gets to a point where I think Dirk just like that's the thing is his skill level.
Yeah, I mean that shot. You're not gonna get to it. You might have your way with him, but he gonna definitely have his way with you.
You give it back to him.
Man, I'm gonna give it back to him, but.
All right, so what are we looking forward to this season, Big Three? We'll get out on this.
I'm in championship, man. Shit.
I mean, we have the most talent.
We all gonna eat.
Yeah, we got the most talent. Like when it comes to, I think we have the most balanced team, and we're so, the team is so interchangeable that I can run to the shooting guard. He's at the point.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like we have so many guys that can play interchangeable, and we don't have that one guy who's out there like he's only here for defense. No, we can we got offense all through all six players. So we don't have that dead.
We still got 3 to pick, right?
Well, Gil knows who he's got.
I mean, it's just our second round pick.
Yeah,
it's gonna be our second round pick is the one. I think we need a big man. I asked, because I didn't see Kwame there.
Now that's why I was just asking Perry. I was like, yo, you think you guard Al Jefferson and Birdman? He was like, nah.
Straight up.
It's really all
Royce.
technique, man. It was just
Royce
can.
Royce can.
I know I can.
Yeah, Royce can.
So that's the 4 that's locked in at this point. We still got the draft to get to tonight. For people are going to see this down the road. This was before the Big Three draft.
Yes.
So we're in Vegas. We're hyped for it. The enemies. Oh, I got this.
Let's do it.
I'm on board.
That's right.
Yeah, okay. All right.
Yeah.
I mean, you're forced to wear that. I mean,
No, I mean, hey.
Don't just say you part enemy. You forced to wear
I'm
that.
a player consultant.
Your job is on the line if you don't wear that shirt.
I know what team I'm on board. Fan base started, and it's going to grow all summer.
All right, time to go gamble.
Yeah.
Need to use this hot hand.
It's the magic in this room.
Appreciate it.